gone and done it.
You clicked on Nintendo's predictions.
Yeah, I mean, Nintendo's doomed, right? I mean, the 3DS is floundering about, the Wii U launch is bombed. They're not even here this year, right now.
They actually are here.
What?
They're just not doing a pre-3 conference.
Oh.
They're doing Nintendo Directs. Don't you read the PR?
I only read like the first 2 lines, don't you know? And even that's a struggle.
Anyways, we have some predictions, because obviously they're going to be at E3, Nintendo Directs, and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, it's very weird, because they announced that they were going to no longer have the press conference. Instead, we're going to split into 3. They're going to have this Nintendo Direct event to announce everything. They're going to have an investors event where they're just going to show off all these numbers and stuff to people we don't even see. And we're also going to have some, you know, like an hour-long press event thing before.
Which they just play the games that they announced and stuff.
So, you know, without further ado, we pretty much expect they're going to have 3 Nintendo Directs. So we're going to cover at least the Wii U and then the 3DS.
Yes.
To see what Nintendo's probably going to discuss at these Nintendo Directs in any way, shape, or form.
Sadly, we assume that Game & Wario will be shown briefly. It's coming out at the end of the month. Nintendo and they still have games they have yet to announce in.
The game's been out in Japan since March.
I really hope they don't spend a lot of time on this.
This is a very pessimistic guess, because the game is almost out, and it's already out in Japan. People know what the game is.
It's been done for months, I can tell you that.
So hopefully we won't talk about that.
Next, New Super Luigi U.
That's going to also be available in a matter of weeks as a downloadable game, but also as a retail game.
In August.
So I think they might just discuss, this is the game, remember? It's going to be available in retail now, and it's going to be over then, it's going to be available in DLC here.
They might just explain that thing system, and maybe show a new trailer, and then wash it.
They might even have just a trailer for it and not even have it shown. But
yeah, because there's a lot of other things to talk about.
Yeah. Now, Pikmin 3 at the last Nintendo Direct, which happened in May, they said they were going to come back to it and discuss specifically the challenge and multiplayer modes.
Yes.
So that is definitely coming in for this particular Direct.
It probably won't be as long as the discussion in the last Nintendo Direct. It's like 7 or 8 minutes of just talking and footage. But here they'll actually show the challenge mode and multiplayer, and I think that'll be playable at the show floor.
Yeah, and I don't think it'll be online either. Nintendo really hasn't been for online multiplayer, and I have a feeling that there's not going to be online multiplayer for this game. It's going to be one person on the TV and one person on the gamepad.
Another game we're going to be talking about, which they announced the release date at the last Nintendo Direct, but not actually show anything for it besides the logo, and that is the Wonderful 101. We're expecting a release date. When we have a release date?
We have a release date. We're expecting more footage, more content information like the story, the gameplay elements, maybe even multiplayer. We saw a hint of that the announcement trailer.
They kept saying, "Oh, there's no multiplayer," but we saw multiplayer in there. So
unless there's some weird thing that was cut out and they just still showed it in the demo.
Either way, we are going to see probably this story. More chaos, more destruction.
Maybe an Iwata asks with Kamiya. Who knows?
Yes. Then following that, Bayonetta 2.
Yeah, Bayonetta 2 is a bit of ways off still. It may have been in development for some time, but it was cancelled, remember?
Yes.
So the game is kind of coming back into the whole string of things. It's coming out in 2014, but a trailer will be at the Nintendo Direct.
Yes, it'll be a trailer, 2014. May or may not be playable.
I don't think it will be. There's too many other games coming out they want to talk about.
But we're probably going to see something for it, because it's a big thing from Nintendo.
So in terms of Legend of Zelda, mind you, when they tweeted about what this Nintendo Direct is going to be about, it's going to be Zelda, Mario Kart, and Smash Bros.
At least.
At least. So first things first, Zelda. Zelda, they showed it off in January.
Not the new Zelda, Wind Waker.
Wind Waker HD. It's going to have improved graphics. It's going to have less bugs than it had before. And in my opinion, it's going to have a slightly better navigation system for the King of Ring Red Alliance, and maybe one new dungeon.
Here's what I think is going to happen. It's probably going to be just like Ocarina of Time 3D, where it's going to have gyro controls with aiming with the gamepad,
the ability to see pictures, videos, and stuff of how to play the game.
And then we're probably also going to get a Master Quest. There's already a second quest built into the game. It just didn't change anything other than Link's attire. So this time around, they could actually change the dungeons around, make it mirrored, and that would be interesting to play out, because that would at least give us something brand new to try out.
And also, Tingle Tuner is probably going to either be using 3DS or it's going to use the Wii U gamepad for a second player. Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be pretty sweet. As for the new Legend of Zelda, not even a peep. They're going to mention it and say, and the new Legend of Zelda we'll talk about later.
That's probably, people think they're going to see a trailer. If you see a trailer, that would be a surprise.
Yeah, that would be a surprise. Now, one of the bigger games also is going to be the 3D Mario game.
Yes.
We have no idea what it's going to be.
It's made by the people who made Galaxy and 3D Land. Is it going to play like 3D Land? Is it going to play like Galaxy? Is it going to be completely different? Is Mario going to be a robot?
We'll find out.
Mario's robot.
Mega Mario. And then, of course, you also have the new Mario Kart. We have no information about what the new Mario Kart is. We know it's coming out. It's probably going to have DLC, but they won't announce that until later. And, it's going to probably be made by the Mario Kart 7 team, will it use retro? We hope not.
I mean, we like retro working, but we would like them working on their own games.
Yeah. So on that note, those two games are both unknowns. We just know they're coming, and we just don't know what's going to be shown in them. X was shown off in January.
Yes.
And X is going to be fully named at this particular...
It's probably Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
Yeah, something... Xenoblade Chronicles 2? That sounds so weird. Anyway, more complete name. It's coming out in Japan this year, and expected Japanese-only Nintendo Direct. And it's going to come out in 2014 in the United States.
Yes, we think it's going to just be flying around max battles, because you saw a trailer.
Yeah,
it was pretty far along.
We're going to show that game in January anyways. The fact of the matter is, they're going to be almost ready to have that game out this holiday season. So it's going to probably come out early 2013 for us here in America.
You mean 14?
14. And 2013 holiday for Japan. On that note,
we can't wait.
We can't wait. Now, another game that was announced that wasn't really planned to be shown in January was Yoshi Yarn.
Yes, we think the footage that was shown was more beta footage or like concept footage.
Yeah, even just looking at the screenshots showed like two different perspectives. Like they're kind of thinking, is it 2D, like 2D, 3D? What is it?
I
almost think that the footage they showed, the actual gameplay footage, was their initial build, which was kind of taking the engine of Kirby's Epic Yarn and putting it together. And then the second screen, all the screenshots we saw, was a different build altogether using a modified engine.
We think it'll be playable at E3. But it won't come out until next year.
It'll be an early 2014 release, in my opinion. Now, on that note, let's take a step away and think about the casual titles, since it seems we've missed that. Let's start with Wii Fit U. This game is odd, because Wii Fit U has been announced for the launch window, and we're well past that. And the game has actually been forgotten. It was mentioned in the January Nintendo Direct, and never seen again.
We believe that the reason why it was delayed until now, back to the holiday season, is to combat any fitness games that both Sony or Microsoft will bring to the table.
Yeah, they might even try and rename it, because the whole Wii branding is kind of floundering
it's
about.
It's probably Wii Fit U.
It's probably still Wii Fit U.
But it comes with that little machine device.
Yeah, and they're probably with new bundles and whatnot. I have no idea how they're going to try and market it this time. But it looked good when they showed it. They just showed it last E3, though.
They should have released it by
now. This game doesn't have a name, but Wii Party U is what my guess is what it's called.
It was again shown in January.
It was shown in January.
Again, it looks like it's Wii Party again.
Now, it looks like they added more to it than just being that, but there's still a lot of like random games to it. I almost think this game is being delayed into 2014 simply because they have too many. They have thought that people don't like the mini games anymore. We had to let that wait a bit. But they couldn't release it in the fall because they need more casual games, unless they decide to release Wii Sports U, which is
our next game on the list. Yeah. I mean, they showed it off when they first announced the Wii U.
They showed off 2 or 3
golf
sports.
and baseball. And we could see games, those look like interesting games.
Yeah.
Why haven't we seen them? Because they're making a whole bunch of them, much like how they did with Wii Sports Resort, and probably Wii Sports U or Wii Sports University or something.
The other issue is that the team that made Nintendo Land also makes Wii Sports. So we might not... That'd be the argument against Wii Sports U coming out this year, is that Nintendo Land came out last year. So they're kind of working their butts off. Unless they have new attractions for Nintendo Land, which they're never going to get. But Wii Sports U could be announced this year or later this year, but I'm not sure about E3.
And this next one is a game we really hope is going to be shown.
Retro's game.
Yes, we love
this
Retro.
game. Has been on our minds since last E3.
Yes, I mean, these are the guys behind the Metroid Prime franchise and Donkey Kong Country Returns. They're two amazing franchises, and we haven't seen anything for like 3 years.
It'll be 3 years since E3 2010.
And we learned that they were busy working on Mario Kart 7 for the 3DS, months. And now we're wondering, with the rush on Mario Kart for the Wii U, are they spending a lot of time working that? But then there was even rumors that said last year they actually had the trailer for their game, and it was yanked at the last second because they either changed the game or some kind of thing happened and they decided not to show it.
Now, there's 2 things significant that was known. One is that people were mentioning that they were in tweets that they were going crunch time, and secondly, they started hiring testers, which means one thing. Demos are coming out, and also it means the game is almost finished.
Yes.
So whatever game they're working on, whether it's Mario Kart U or a new game, it'll be out this year.
And now let's divert away from the first party to some third party.
So first things first, you got, it's not even mentioned here specifically, but Warner Brothers will be there with maybe a game or 2, Scribblenauts Unmasked, and Ubisoft will be there with Watch Dogs maybe.
And maybe Zombie U,
but
2.
Not at all. No, that game's
Rayman Legends?
No. But Sega will be there.
No, yeah, and they recently announced the game.
Sonic Lost World.
Yes, and they're actually going to show the game, demonstrate the game, Probably have a Nintendo Direct. Not Nintendo Direct, and the thing after the interview thing.
Yeah, it's what asks.
Asks.
And they got Mario and Sonic at the Sochi Olympic Games for early 2014.
Yes,
but they didn't mention it's coming out this year, so maybe I'm wrong with that. So, but they said there's a third Sonic game that is not coming out this year.
Yes, doesn't mean it won't be shown. It could be shown, or it could be waited another Nintendo Direct.
I hope it's not a Mario Sonic crossover racing game, because I mean it would be really cool, but at the same time Mario Kart U is coming out this year. That would be really weird. You can't just have a Sonic game and a Sonic racing game.
Well, we don't know what it is. It could be anything.
It's a bit
it could be anything. And this is not a crossover game we have to talk about.
Yes, SMT Cross Fire Emblem.
This was another January game announced. It was very surprising. It was like, what? What?
But that game doesn't look like it's far ahead.
I think it was announced, but at the same time it was dealed. Written on a piece of paper. Okay, we can say it.
Teaser trailer at most. Nothing of gameplay was shown. That's definitely a 2014 title.
2015 maybe. Just being honest here.
Also, one more collaboration.
Maybe Capcom.
I'm hoping not Mega Man. Not Mega Man. Never Mega Man. What are you thinking? New Monster Hunter.
Monster Hunter 4 might be coming to America.
Yes. So, there's one game, after all those announcements are being made,
the big one.
The big one is Smash Brothers. Smash Brothers will be out. They'll show a new trailer. It'll be teaser trailer, probably not actual gameplay. Or maybe the name will be announced. Sakurai will come out and go, "Hey guys, my arm is gone thanks to this game. Hope you enjoy."
Hi guys, how you doing?
On that note, the game will probably unveil 4 new characters. I think that 4 new newcomers, are what they do to generate the hype for the game. You know what I mean? I can't guess what they're going to be, but
I'm not even going to bother.
But they're going to say, "Hey guys, this game comes out 2014. Enjoy it."
Yes, but it doesn't mean it might be playable.
It'll probably be playable at the show.
You see how sure we are with that.
I'm going to say it's not playable. If it's playable, it's the 3DS version only.
Yes.
Speaking of 3DS, at the end of this conference, or at the beginning of that conference, they're going to say, "We have another Nintendo Direct for the 3DS coming out probably in the next night, or something or other." And it's going to have the following games: Mario and Luigi Dream Team. More discussion, more footage.
Coming out.
The game's got a lot of stuff already known, so it's going to be just talked about briefly. Mario Golf World Tour, also talked about.
When is it coming out?
Probably September or October. Depending on... Not October. Forgot about that. Pokemon X and Y.
Which is the next game.
Which is October. They're going to have a whole roundtable dedicated to Pokemon X and Y. And I think that Pokemon X and Y having its own roundtable could mean that they may not even mention it at a particular Nintendo Direct. They might just have a video of the roundtable show.
Announce it. Maybe that's new Pokemon.
Maybe Pokemon
new gym trainers will be shown off.
Yeah. So I really expect a large amount of discussion.
Oh, and do you think we're going to see Pokemon Rumble?
Pokemon Rumble, they might talk about downloadable games in brief, but I think that might be wait for just another generic Nintendo Direct after E3.
And this game I'm really excited for, Legend of Zelda Link to the Past 2.
It'll have a name, it'll actually have a name,
yes.
And it will most likely have a more solid release date, probably December in the United States.
Maybe we'll actually see the story of the game or something. That's what I want to see.
Probably not. Yoshi's Island 3?
We're actually not in 2014.
No, it's 2014, and what we saw was pretty much demo areas.
We might not even see it at E3. We might see it briefly.
They might mention it, but they'll be like, "This game is coming out in Nintendo."
Maybe they'll give it a name. They'll give it a name.
We'll tell you more about this game soon. Is what they're going to say.
Yes.
And finally, this is my belief. Tony doesn't necessarily believe me, but a new Kirby game for the 3DS will be announced.
I don't know. Maybe.
It's been 2 years since the last one was released, and 2 years since the last Kirby game, there's a lot of flux in there. And I think that more games should be announced for 3DS, because look at that list compared to the Wii U.
I guess.
On that note, I also think that in Japan, there's a game called Jam with the Band, and the Friend Collection. I think one of those two is coming to the United States.
Jam with the Band is probably
Jam
more
with the Band is more likely. And that would be pretty cool, and they did hint at it in an older Nintendo Direct, so why haven't we had an announcement? Because of E3. And now it's time for Outlandish Guests for Nintendo.
A new Metroid.
Just about as possible as your new Mega Man.
Alright, fine. New Star Fox.
You
see how outlandish these statements are?
Yeah.
But both of them would look really nice either on the 3DS or on the Wii U.
Yeah, the argument against Metroid is that Other M bombed horribly compared to what their expectations were. But on the same time, people really want Metroid, and they could return it to a 3DS for a cheaper venue.
And also Super Metroid, their deal ends for the 30-cent Super Metroid on the day of E3. It's almost like it's asking for announcements.
On that note, Star Fox is trying to be rebooted with the new 3D Star Fox game, but Star Fox before 3D failed to sell 1 million worldwide. It bombed in Japan, which is the most prevalent area for them, and I have a feeling that means Star Fox could be dead. So we
kind of like F-Zero.
Kind of like F-Zero. So it's a big. Both those franchises are both in this zone of I don't know about what's going on.
I would like to see new ones, but the sales aren't.
But both games on the 3DS would be probable because they're cheaper, or on the download services. And Nintendo's theme for this year's E3 is
Wii U's got game.
3DS 2.
This E3 they have to sell the Wii U because the PS4 and Xbox One are coming out. They have to release games.
I mean, Nintendo's argument is that there's going to be a lot bigger games for the franchise-wise from Nintendo this year versus the other two. You're not going to see a Halo and you're not going to see an Uncharted. You're going to see
you might see
Killzone. But Nintendo's got Mario. It's got Zelda. It's got more Mario. It's got Mario Kart. It's probably going to have Yoshi at some point. It's got all the Wii Sports type games. Retro's game, which is a new IP or Metroid. It's got Sonic. It's got a lot of games that are going to cater for Nintendo's audience. Nintendo probably very much hopes that this particular year that Nintendo fans buy the system because they know that New Super Mario Bros. Did not sell the system.
Because if they don't sell games, Iwata's going up the creek.
Yeah. So on that note, what is their big game going to be? No crap. The big new 3D Mario game.
Yes, we would say Smash Brothers, but Smash Bros. Is not coming out for another year. It's probably just a teaser. So it's going to be the new 3D Mario game. Whether it's going to be like Galaxy or 3D Land, I kind of hope it's like Galaxy more than 3D Land, but that's just...
And expect advertisements for the Wii U to really ramp up in August. Expect some bundling, expect some replacements, expect some price drops,
new bundles,
maybe a new ambassador program. We don't know. We're just... But why speculate? Why speculate?
Why are you talking?
We're only doing prediction videos.
You're still talking.
I'm going to click on the left side to go back to Sony. Click on the right side to go on to the third parties and our final guesses for this upcoming E3. Before I kill this guy. Not before I kill him.